And continuing some of the main stories making the news today, President Abdallah al-Sisi extended his appreciation and respect to the armed forces men who exert their utmost efforts to safeguard the nation's security and stability. This came during the President's expanded meeting with the armed forces leaders, officers and soldiers following the 33rd Armed Forces Cultural Symposium. The meeting was attended by Minister of Defense and Military Production General Mohammad Zaki and the Armed Forces Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Mohammad Farid. Presidential spokesman Bassam Radi said the meeting started with a minute of silence on the souls of the martyrs who sacrificed themselves for the sake of the nation. They reviewed a number of local, regional and international issues, probing Egypt's constant and wise stance towards various files and causes. President al-Sisi discussed with the armed forces leaders Egypt's national security and challenges facing the country, listening to their opinions and inquiries and confirming the strong will of the state with all its authorities and apparatus to promote the living standards of citizens in all aspects of life. And also marking the Martyrs' Day, Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Dr. Ahmed al-Tayyib, extended his appreciation and gratitude for Egypt's loyal heroes who sacrificed their souls and blood, defending the nation's peace, security, honor and dignity. In a statement, al-Tayyib also greeted the families and mothers of the martyrs and the wounded, saying they provided the best examples of patience and perseverance. The statement hailed the great sacrifices made by the army and police personnel to secure Egypt's security and stability. And protectors of the nation party congratulated President al-Sisi, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, as well as the Armed Forces General Command, on the occasion marking Martyr Day, which coincides with the commemoration of the death of Lieutenant General Abdallah Riyad, who sacrificed his soul for the sake of the nation on the 9th of March of 1969. The party reiterated that Martyr Day reflects the nation's gratitude to its martyrs and symbolizes the sincere national spirit of Egyptian soldiers who defend its security and stability throughout history, adding that victory and dignity are honored over generations. It said Egypt's history is full of championships and sacrifices by its sons, referring to the date of Riyad's martyrdom as a decisive day in the Egyptian military's history, especially for the Arab-Israeli conflict. On this great day, it said Egypt recalls victories and heroics of our armed forces, extending all appreciation and respect for all mothers who lost their sons in the battlefields, those martyrs who shouldered their responsibility and bravely defended the nation with their souls and blood. These were some of the main stories making the news today, but now let's check out this report regarding Egypt remembering the veterans, remembering the martyrs, remembering the sacrifices on the 9th of March, and we'll be right back.
الأرض الدفاع عنها فرض، والتضحية وعد، والوعد مكتوب على الجبين، والغالي يرخص لك، ودمي مهرك لأجل نحمي البلاد ونشوف أمل بكرة في عيون الولاد. لولاهم ما كنا هنا. 9 مارس يوم الشهيد.
The 33rd Armed Forces Cultural Symposium was held on Tuesday, dedicated to mark Martyrs' Day. Addressing the symposium, which was held under the title, "If Not For Them, We Wouldn't Be Here," President Abdallah al-Sisi said Egypt does not forget its martyrs, adding that the legends of the martyrs who sacrificed their lives for the nation urge all Egyptians to preserve their country. President al-Sisi said all respect and appreciation for the Egyptian martyrs, stressing that protecting the nation is not an easy task and a task that requires true sacrifice. The head of state reiterated that if not for the sacrifices of these martyrs, security and stability would not be attained. The Sisi affirmed Egypt would witness the birth of a new state and a new republic with the inauguration of the new administrative capital. The president said the region has witnessed developments that destroy the concept of the national state, hailing the role of the armed forces, the police forces as well, in countering any forces of destruction. As for the coronavirus pandemic, he added the medical team's task during the crisis is also highly appreciated. The Sisi said the state seeks to make citizens' lives better through the Decent Life Initiative. The president said encroachment on agricultural lands must be stopped, as well as the acceleration of illegal construction. During the symposium, President Sisi honored the families of the martyrs and the wounded in the military operations. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and the Defense Minister General Mohammed Zaki and a number of ministers and senior officials attended the event.
شباب زي الورد ادونا حياتهم ولسه هيدونا، ضحوا بالعمر نفسه، ولا كانوا مستنيين مال ولا شهرة، ولا كانوا فاكرين وهم بيضحوا انه في حد هيعرفهم من اساسه. عملوا كل ده عشان مصر. مشوار البطولة بتاع الناس دي كان من نوع تاني خالص.
كان صوت نداء الواجب كان في قلبه أعلى من كل تعلق بدنيته، فباع روحه لربه بنفس طيبة، فد ظهره للأمان وصدره لصد العدوان.
دي دماء بذلت لأجل حماية الناس وحماية الوطن والحفاظ عليه.
لولاهم ما كنا هنا. 9 مارس يوم الشهيد.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and now we're joined over the phone by Mr. Sameh Abdallah, the editor-in-chief at Al-Ahram newspaper. Mr. Abdallah, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
Mr. Abdallah, first of all, now the 9th of March commemorates the martyrdom of Lieutenant General Abdelminam Riyad in 1969, and it really spurs the appreciation that all Egyptians have for their sons who sacrificed their lives and who are injured during all the wars that Egypt has undergone, and currently the combating terrorism and extremism in the country. Now, how significant is it for the Egyptian society, especially the new generation, to have this sort of sense of appreciation to the sacrifices and the blood and the souls being given for the sake of the country's security and stability?
Look, it's very important for civilized societies like Egypt to always remember the heroes who have paid their lives defending the Egyptian soil and the Egyptian dignity. And of course, choosing this day, as you have just mentioned, is related to this incident when General Riyad was visiting the Egyptian front with Israel at the very end, at the very closest to the, it was only the Suez Canal that was separating him from the Israeli troops over there. And at that time, Egypt was going through certain battles to make the Israelis believe that what happened in '69 was not the real situation. And the Egyptian army can teach them lessons every now and then, and it really happened the day before. Big skirmishes happened between the Egyptians and the Israelis, and General Riyad wanted to go the following day to give some moral support to his soldiers, and he insisted that he should go to the very end, to the last point, to shake hands with the soldiers and to look at the other side and to see what has happened already. And at that time, like every great general all over the history of mankind, he had to pay his life during a battle that happened that day. So that first shows how great this leader was. and a very special person, and he was seen by Egyptians and even foreigners, military leaders, as one of a kind. He was really the person that took the responsibility after what happened in '67 war, and he had this burden of rebuilding the Egyptian army and give back the moral support to those who were supposed to fight soon another battle to bring back the lands that were occupied in Sinai that were occupied before. So just to remember this person and to tell the people about his story and how he was doing everything to defend Egypt, and even on the person on the personal side, he was the second in command in the Ministry of Defense at that time. But on the other hand, at the same time, he was a student in one of the universities because he wanted to enrich his knowledge in other fields. I think it was either the Faculty of Law or Faculty of Commerce or so on. So that general is really one of a kind, and to let the new generations know his story and to remember him every year in that specific day. That's really a good thing to do, to create this kind of appreciation to the previous generations that have paved the road for those who are living in peace and security right now.
Yes, definitely. Well, another good step took place when the President Sisi actually approved Law 4 for the year 2021, which was amending the Law 6 for 2018 concerning the victims, the missing, the injured, and the martyrs of war and security operations and terror attacks and their families. Now, what does this new law stipulate that was approved by the President?
Are you talking about the law that would give more financial support to the families of the martyrs? Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
About, yeah. I think this is the one very simple, one very small thing we should do for those who have paid their lives for us to feel secure. We are one family, and those who have done such a sacrifice should be, I won't say compensated, because nothing would compensate what they have done. But at least we should try to pay back some of what they have done to us by taking care of their families. This is ABC of what good people would try to do or would think of doing. So I really appreciate very much this law, and I think it shows a special feature of the current leaders in Egypt, or the current leader in Egypt. In fact, I mean, he thinks not only of building Egypt and trying to provide the Egyptians with a decent life and how to say, develop every single sector in Egypt, but on the other hand, he doesn't forget those who have made the ultimate sacrifice defending the Egyptian land and the Egyptian integrity and the Egyptian dignity, as I said earlier.
Yes.
So yes, this is exactly what we should be proud of doing something like that, and whatever we might have whatever we might do for those people in the future would not be enough, because they have participated, even if it is indirectly, but they have participated to help the Egyptian people live in a better way right now.
Well, Mr. Abdallah, speaking of a decent life, the President, during his addressing of the Cultural Symposium of the Armed Forces, he actually mentioned the initiative, the Decent Life, which is an initiative that pushes forward and really works on raising the standards of living of the Egyptian citizen. How far do you feel the presidency and the government has gone in really achieving such such an important and vital goal of such an initiative?
Look, nobody in this world has a magic stick that, you know, by pointing at something, at something or somewhere, things get changed in 1 second or 1 minute or less. A country like Egypt, with more than 100 million people living in, with a lot of accumulated problems that has been, we have been witnessing for decades. So it's not easy to overcome this or to get rid of all the problems in one day. But what I'm sure of is the president and the government and everybody, we are pushing ahead towards a better life for every Egyptian. And I'm not talking about those who live in the cities only, but we have certain initiatives for the countryside, for villages, for poor people, for people that doesn't have enough income to live, in health sectors, housing, and so on. So I believe that the attitude is great. The approach of the government is wonderful, but we are moving towards eliminating a lot of bad things and problems Egyptians are facing right now. If things is not yet done, that's because of time. Because if you are targeting 4,500 villages, for example, you can do it all in one day or all in the same time. You have to start with a group and then you move to another group and so on. So I believe we have started a great, so many great initiatives, in fact, not only one, and we are moving ahead, and we will see the outcome, the real outcome, within few years from now.
Yes, hopefully so. Mr. Sameh Abdallah, the editor-in-chief of Al-Ahram newspaper, thank you very much for joining us, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, also, let's check out this report regarding the Veterans Association organizing a press conference on the Veteran Warrior and Martyrs Day, and we'll be right back.